it's Stephen and Walter again from guess where? Oz. Yes, we're getting to the countdown now. We've only got about another 2 days here and then gone. And actually tomorrow's our last really full day, because come the day after that, Wednesday Australia time,
we check out of the hotel around whatever 11 or whatever, and then we're going to drive to the airport, and we have a room for the night at the airport, so it won't be that exciting traveling around. I did it that way. Some people travel till the last minute, and I like being prepared.
Yeah.
And so our flight leaves at 9:20.
Maybe.
Maybe.
Because the ones we've been following, the flights that we will be on, and the last
We're a little
couple have been
behind
delayed.
schedule right now.
Apparently, one of the planes tried to land on top of another one in the Toronto airport.
Yeah, that was, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and that delayed everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of confidence there in the...
Yeah, apparently there was a
controllers.
flight taking off of Toronto and another one coming into Toronto on the same runway.
Yeah.
And they quickly got rid of the one that was taking off. And that caused a huge delay at Toronto Airport when they were trying to figure out what happened.
Like, duh, because your air traffic controller was asleep at the controls. Not a good feeling if you're on a plane and this happens, right? So anyways, let's keep our fingers crossed that all will go smoothly.
Yeah, so as far as I can figure out, they've got one or two planes. I think they've got 2 planes traveling to Australia every day. Not every day, but they've got 2 planes doing the circuit for Australia. So it goes like from Toronto to Vancouver to Sydney, and then Sydney to Vancouver to Toronto again every day.
Boink,
So
boink, 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 boink.
they need 2 planes for that.
Follow the bouncing plane. Yeah, we don't want that to happen either. No bouncy planes. Okay, so anyways, what did we do today? Well, we got up, and that's a good thing. And today we took the water ferry to the end of the line from Circle Quay at the beginning of the line. And that took about an hour and a half to do that. And we went to a place, what's it called?
Parameta.
Okay, I was going to say Paramecium, but that's something totally different. But yeah, Parameta. And what's in Parameta, you may ask?
Well, I thought there would be a little bit more than what there was, but
Big shopping mall.
huge shopping
mall.
It was like 5 stories high, and it was massive.
Yeah, it was a massive, yeah, for sure. You went up and up and up and up and up and up and over the place. So we went there, we walked around there, looked at things. Had a Starbucks coffee. Yeah, you had a cappuccino.
I had a cappuccino. I've had about 3 or 4 cappuccinos in Australia. Some once in a while we'll stop for one. And I have to say that Starbucks is the worst one I had.
Yeah, well, I had a caramel macchiato, which is, if I have anything from Starbucks, which is very rarely, I usually get a caramel macchiato. And they're okay. I don't mind those. But the coffee we've had from some of the various, more independent kind of coffee places here in Australia, the coffee's been a lot better than Starbucks. I mean, the only thing that's worse than Starbucks coffee is probably Tim Hortons. So I know some of you in there with your doubles and everything, and that's pretty much for the Canadian audience, all 3 of you. I'm sure you love it, but whatever. So we did that, walked around, walked out, and took the ferry back and got off at Darling Harbour at, what do they call that stop? That's the Bangaroo, that's right. Bangaroo. Sounds like an Australian orgy, doesn't it? Bangaroo. Yeah, whatever. Boing, boing.
Well, actually, it's only, it's not very far from downtown Sydney. Well, actually, it is part of downtown Sydney. It's an area called Darlinghurst. No, it's not Darlinghurst.
No,
Darling Harbour.
Darling Harbour. Yeah, which you have seen some video previously about that, because we've been down there several times. Real tourist trap. Anyways, so we brought it back, and it was kind of nice to see the water, see, Sydney and its suburbs from the water. The water taxis are very efficient in the timing. It's just
it's not a water taxi. It was a ferry.
Okay, whatever. Water taxi, ferry. It was on the water, right?
It was a ferry.
It was a boat, right?
Yeah. Well, the trip one way was about an hour and a half.
Yeah. And you tap on, tap off. You get these cards that you fill up,
It's part of their transit system.
Yeah. So, because the cards are good with their train system, their tram system, all of that kind of stuff. It's all interrelated. Kind of like how it's supposed to work in Toronto with their, what do they call it in Toronto? Presto card. Yeah. It's a magic act in Toronto if it actually works. Presto! But here it does work. So anyway.
And actually, these cards we purchased from a previous trip. Actually, I think that was the one trip that we were here on. It's either in 2016. Yeah, 2016, I think we were here.
Well, that was our first time in Sydney.
Or either that or it was a 2018 trip.
Well, either way, we had money left over on those cards. They still work.
And they still work.
They still work with that money. We added some more money to them, whatnot. But it's not a bad way to travel about.
Yeah.
Here, because if we want to go to these areas and go by car, oh my God, that would probably be a hell to do.
Going that park.
Yeah, and so no. So yeah, we went there, we got back, and then we went looking for a place where we could have a beer or two. Actually, we had three, because we came upon a place we'd been to before, Henley's. You've seen that in a previous video.
Yeah, one problem with a lot of places around here is that when 2 or 3 o'clock come, they have like a break between lunch and dinner. So the cafes and the restaurants all close down for a couple hours in between lunch and dinner.
So you really can't get anything.
So you can't get anything to eat.
No.
And this place still had something available to eat.
So we got, we had thought about nachos. They didn't have nachos, but what they had was, what did they call it?
It was kind of a charcuterie.
It was a charcuterie board, basically, but they called it something. I can't remember what they called it. Something with
Brew
a B.
something.
Brewers. No, not Brewer's Table. Or was it a brewer? No, yeah. Border something.
Brew Board or something.
Brew Board or
like
Border Collie. I don't know. One of those things. It was a charcuterie. Okay, so it was actually quite tasty.
Yeah, instead of bread, they had like pizza that had just like a
pizza dough.
Pizza dough, but it was sort of like it was buttered or something.
It had garlic. It was garlic. It was basically garlic bread, but as a pizza dough kind of crust.
And it had prosciutto and another type of Italian salami, and I think it was Genoa. Maybe. And they had a little
olives,
various olives, and some hummus, some red hummus.
Yes, and some brie.
And a little chunk of brie.
Yeah, which actually wasn't too bad. I think it was called the Brewers Board.
Yeah, Brewers Board.
I think that's what they called it at this place. Anyways, we had that, and we had a beer with that. Then we had a second beer. And then at 4 o'clock, because we were there before 4 o'clock, they have happy hour. All beers are supposed to be $8. Well, not all
selected beers are $8.
And they're a schooner.
Of course, the one that we bought were not
was
selected
a premium
beers, so
yeah.
I should have asked them.
Yeah, and we were drinking schooners, and it was the schooners that were on sale too. Now, you're going to ask, what's a schooner? 3/4 of a pint, basically. I think we mentioned that in another video. So we had that, and we left there and walked back up to the hotel. But before we came into the hotel, we stopped again at the grocery store, picked up some more stuff for Brecky, because we basically ate all our bread this morning. So I got crumpets this time because we only have basically 2 mornings here. Didn't want to buy a whole loaf of bread and that kind of stuff. There's a few things that we have left over. We can't bring them home. I hate to waste it, but it's going to get ditched. So we did that, and we bought another bottle of wine because you have to have a bottle of wine every night, and we do. For that, God, it's going to take us a month to dry out when we get home. And yeah, so tonight, if we're feeling somewhat peckish or whatever, we're just we thought of buying a pre-made sandwich or two at the grocery
Yeah,
store.
they're kind of gross.
Their sandwiches are absolutely horrible. Now, that's not something I ever buy in a grocery store in
But
our
actually,
home
the
country.
grocery store sandwiches that are in our world, end of the world, are usually not that bad.
And they smear them with something. Like,
Yeah, they're not very
I
good.
think they call it tomato relish. It is not to be mistaken with what we call ketchup or even tomato sauce. It is putrid. It is slime.
Well, not only that, none of their pre-made sandwiches are very appetizing.
No.
And they're not cheap either.
No, they're not.
They're like $8.
And you're talking about like a piece of meat on 2 pieces of white bread with slop on it. And they're disgusting. They're just disgusting. So, no. I mean, there is a Subway. We had Subway last night, as you know. I had a big salad from Subway, and it was fine. Walter had something, a 6-inch
I had a
something.
6-inch.
Yeah, well, you're bragging now. But
Could have had a 12-inch.
yeah, but could you swallowed it? Never
No.
mind.
I
Never
would have
mind.
had 12-inch too big for me.
Never. I said never mind, but you just went with it anyways, didn't you? Yeah. And people think I don't have a filter. Yeah. Okay. So, anyways, yeah, we might get something else tonight. I don't know what.
We don't know yet. There's a few different options.
Yeah, there's a few different.
There's a Chinese place in the mall where we got groceries, and we had some stuff
Yes,
there
we had
from
that.
there before, and it's not bad.
It's not bad. And you get to pick what you want, kind of a deal. So that might be an option. But whatever. We'll see. And got to throw in a few things into the washing machine here, see if it works as well. And yeah. Anything else exciting happened today? I'm telling you, the people on bicycles drive me nuts. I'm surprised that I don't have tire marks right up my back or on my front from them, because they're maniacs on the bikes. And that was one thing about nice going out into the burbs. There were less people. Sydney is very, very busy city. No two ways about it. In fact, well, we haven't been downtown Toronto in a while.
Yeah.
But I don't ever remember even downtown Toronto being so congested with people. Cars, yes. People, not so much. Maybe that has changed, but here it's just like, wow. And they travel in packs. So, and they're every which way. Like,
Well, I think problem with Sydney is that if a lot of them I think are tourists,
yeah,
and the problem with Sydney is that if anybody goes to Australia, they end up in Sydney.
you're going to go to Sydney.
Probably their first choice, right?
Yeah.
So that's one issue with Sydney. So
Yeah. I mean, not that really complaining. I mean, you get used to it a little bit. But it's still kind of like, okay, a lot of people. I don't know. Is there anything else?
a lot of Asians.
Yeah. Well, we're closer
Not that
to
it's a problem.
No.
But it's just more. Mind you, the hotel we were in seemed to have a lot of Asian restaurants around it.
Yeah, I don't know. Are we in Asian town?
We're getting close.
We're not far
Chinatown.
from Koreatown.
We're not from Chinatown. Far from Chinatown.
No, we're not, and we're even closer to Korean town. Because
Yeah.
I saw a sign, Korean
Yeah.
town. So there you are with that. But anyways, yeah, it's just not exactly what we're used to, but that's why you travel, right?
Well, yeah.
It's
But,
not the
I mean,
usual.
it's a fine. We've been to
Yeah.
Australia before. We like it.
Yeah, so like,
In fact, we were sitting there having a beer, and we were talking about going home, and I said, you know what's going to happen as soon as we go home. We go, oh, we wish we were back.
wish we were back there. Yeah, that's what'll happen. I don't know, but it's getting time. You know, we do have lives. Well, I do. I don't know if you have one. But you know, things to do. I mean, I've got to get back onto the YouTubes, right? Well, we're already on the YouTubes with this, but got to get back into the swing of, you know, quilting and all that kind of stuff. I've got a retreat to get going once I get back up. And yeah, there's lots of stuff to do. Which, well, whatever. And we're coming back to probably what we've heard is not the nicest of weather compared to here, but it is April in Canada, in Ontario, and that's the drizzly month. So, and it's colder.
Yeah, if we stay here any longer, winter is coming.
I know, winter is coming. Yeah, scary. They're all.
Well, it is one problem with coming this time of the year is it does get dark here very early. So
It's dark right now, and it's 5:54.
yeah.
You know, whereas where we're from, the days are getting longer again. So, yeah, okay. Well, I can't think of anything else astounding to tell you right now, so I guess we'll just let the videos roll, shall we? So tomorrow, what are we doing tomorrow? Tomorrow we're taking an adventure. We're taking an adventure tomorrow.
Yeah, we're gonna take the same ferry we took today, but we're gonna stop off at an island, or not an island, a section of Sydney that we hadn't gone to before. And we're going to attempt to go to a quilt
Fabric store, yeah.
And if we can't go there, there's a spotlight nearby. So and they sell fabric as well. Yeah. So we figure we'll give that a try.
Yeah, something to do. Because to be honest, we're starting to run out of things to do.
So, and it'll be sort of our last day.
Yep.
And it'd be kind of nice to do on our last day. So.
And then it's going to be 2 days of travel hell to get home.
Well, no, it's one day.
Yeah, I know.
We leave on the 18th, and we arrive on the 18th. Only it's like after 20 hours of traveling.
But it's going to feel like 2 days.
Yeah.
Yeah, for us. But anyways. Okay, so here's today's videos. Enjoy. Talk to you tomorrow. Okay, today we're starting the day off on the ferry, and we're going down the river to Parameta. I don't know what's there, but we'll find out. So here's the city from the water. It's about an hour and a half to get to the end. And we used, it's sort of a tap-on, tap-off card system that they have here. Yesterday we checked out what we had left on the cards that we bought 5 years ago and topped them up. Now, and here's another shot of the Opera House. Luna Park. is basically a suburb of Sydney, but it's a ways from downtown Sydney. So it's a community all unto itself, really. Central Square here. Oh, Wendys Milk Bar?
That's their Wendys.
Well, we're in the Westfield Mall in Parmento, and we're at a Starbucks. And Walter's having a long cappuccino, and I'm having a long caramel macchiato. Noisy place.